Hello, everyone. Here's your weather hazard briefing for Thursday, February 13th. It's a very cold morning. Some areas seeing wind chills 20 to 35 below zero. The warmest wind chills between 0 and 15 below, basically from Pocatello west on to the south and the lower elevations. So definitely bundle up if you're headed out there this morning. It'll be a little bit warmer this afternoon and this evening, but definitely be bundled up for this morning. Now, we get in this afternoon, this evening. That moisture quickly moves in. We're going to see snow and the potential of some light freezing rain picking up through the day, mainly late afternoon into tonight. With the colder temperatures to start, that snow is going to be that fluffy, dry snow. But as temperatures warm this afternoon, they're going to be warming up tonight into tomorrow. Some of that snow is going to be definitely becoming more of that wet snow, especially at lower elevations. Also, that's when the potential of that light freezing rain kicks up in a few spots. The rain and snow continues into tomorrow, and it just basically continues through the rest of the holiday weekend. Satellite already showing that moisture moving in ahead of that low. Some pretty good moisture just moving on shore, but plenty of moisture already pushing through the Sierras and the Cascades. A little bit of low cloudiness over the upper Snake Plain into the eastern highlands. Really not much of an impact across our area this morning at all. Looking at our weather risk outlook, our more impactful areas generally outside of the Snake Plain and Magic Valley, where we're going to see the worst conditions, will be the higher elevations, the eastern and southeastern highlands, and with a little bit of a southerly push into the Wood River Valley. But again, the mess over the Snake Plain and the Magic Valley and the South Hills is going to be that huge first push of snow and then a little bit of freezing rain mixing with the snow overnight into those areas. Now, how are we going to look? How are things progressing? Normally, when we show these types of maps, we kind of show you just where things are going to progress. This is a combination of that and also looking at the potential of what type of moisture is going to fall. So we go through the day. You'll notice a lot of blue and light blue, white colors. If you're colorblind, some of this looks white to me, so you may not necessarily look blue to you. As we go through into the afternoon, a lot of this is going to be snow, but you'll notice as we get back into the Magic Valley, the Treasure Valley, back towards Boise, we'll push this to around 5 or 6 o'clock. You'll notice, and don't necessarily pay attention to the exact numbers, just kind of shows you the pattern. A good chunk of this is still snow, but once you get back towards the 84-86 junction, that potential of snow goes down. And you'll notice as we get back towards Burley, Twin Falls, some of that is starting to be, there's a low potential of some freezing rain falling. We'll take it through the rest of the evening. This will take us to around 11 o'clock. You'll notice as we get towards Blackfoot and Pocatello, there's a potential of some rain sneaking in and freezing rain. I think it's going to be mainly snow and freezing rain at that point. And that potential continues once you get back to the south and to the west. Once you get back towards Jerome, Twin Falls, Burley, and that's potential freezing rain picks up. And when we talk about the freezing rain, basically if you drew a circle on a map, a little bit of a little area on the map, if you kind of do that from Shoshone over to Blackfoot, Pocatello, McCammon, back down towards Roy Summit, and back down towards Sweetser, Oakley, back up towards Twin and Jerome, Hagerman, Gooding, and that general area, that's kind of where we're going to see the best chance of any light freezing rain. It's not a big freezing rain event, just a little bit of light freezing rain mixing in with the snow. This takes us through most of the night. They'll take you to around 5 or 6 in the morning. Most of the snow is still in the higher elevations, but again, you'll start to see that mix of freezing rain, maybe a little bit of rain now starting to mix in west of Pocatello into the south. That trend continues back in towards the Magic and Treasure Valleys. As we go through the rest of the day, we'll start to see most of the shower activity, the snow, and any moisture being in the higher elevations. Now, what does that mean? Certainly snow in the higher elevations. If we get showers of the lower elevations by this time tomorrow, by 5 p.m. on Friday, Valentine's Day, that's going to be mostly rain or rain-snow mixed in the lowest elevations here across central and eastern Idaho. So let's go back to the rest of the forecast, and we're going to kind of step through this a little bit, so it may take a little bit longer than we normally do on these briefings, just kind of give you an idea. You see these high temperatures, this will be later in the day, Most of the time you see that high mid to late afternoon. Don't be surprised if we don't see highs until this evening. You can have a high temperature in between midnight and midnight. You can have the lowest temperature of the day anytime between midnight and midnight. The warmest temperatures for today, Thursday, will be much later on in the day. Now, that light snow moves in. We do have some wind. Interestingly enough, south of the Snake Plain, that's a good southerly wind, so some of this will be downslope. Also in the higher elevations up north, that'll be a southerly wind. But the Snake Plain and the Magic Valley, that's a pretty stout east and northeast wind. So that's keeping those cooler temperatures in place in some areas for today. Going into this afternoon, those winds do pick up. Again, southerly winds south of the Snake Plain, up north as well over the higher elevations. Still a east and northeast wind up and down the Snake Plain into the Magic Valley and certainly over to the Treasure Valley. But look at this huge push of moisture. And where we have upslope, that southerly push into the Wood River Valley across the Shoshone lava beds over to Blackfoot, even just north of Burley, 3 to 6 inches of snow in a short amount of time. And the snow is going to be fluffy initially. It may start to get a little more wet later on during this period, but it's going to be a fluffy snow with a 25, 35 mile an hour wind. That's going to be quite a bit of blowing and drifting snow. Now, you'll see in around American Falls and Pocatello, 2 to 4 inches during that period. That's because we got a southerly wind cutting down a little bit on that snow potential, that downslope potential. That's for just this afternoon. Going into this evening, the bulk of the snow shifts into the southern and eastern highlands, the southeast highlands, but still we've got some downslope, so about 1 to 3, potentially American Falls up towards Blackfoot, but a pocket once you get out in the middle of the desert of about 3 to 4 inches, maybe even peaking just in a couple of spots over 4 inches during that period. So this is a lot of moisture falling in a short amount of time. Up north and elsewhere, you'll see the snow amounts starting to dissipate, and you'll see the wind still pretty gusty. Still looking at an east to northeast wind over the Snake Plain and Magic Valley, but again, southerly winds up north and also across areas south and east of the Snake Plain. Overnight hours, the winds continue to die down, a similar pattern, although towards sunrise, everywhere we'll start to see a south to southwest wind. Moisture continuing generally east of I-15, another little push coming into the central mountains that extends out across craters towards the INL, even maybe Idaho Falls and Blackfoot, a little uptick in snow during that period. This is also with that transition, we're expecting that light freezing rain, maybe a trace, maybe a couple of hundredths, and that's generally over this Magic Valley heading on towards Pocatello and certainly down in the lower valleys of the South Hills and the Albion Mountains for tonight. We go into tomorrow morning. The wind's still light, generally, though, a little stronger down south because that is still a downslope component for a south to southwest wind. And generally some light, maybe some moderate snow in the central mountains and over in the Tetons as well and down across the Bear River Range. For tomorrow afternoon, we start to really break up that moisture over the Snake Plain. And we get a more of a west wind coming across the Snake Plain and in the Magic Valley, those gusts 15 to 25 miles per hour. And just a very few pockets of freezing rain left over, mainly tomorrow morning. For temperatures tomorrow, where we get the wind and the downslope closer to 30 degrees into the afternoon, very warm temperatures area-wide. The lower elevations, even if it's around 35, 36, that's going to be wet snow. Anything above that's going to try to switch over to rain or generally a mix of rain and snow. And you get down towards Burley, Oakley, temperatures in the mid-40s tomorrow afternoon. So a big change from what we have seen over the area the past few days. We'll go into tomorrow night. Most of the moisture falling in the eastern highlands along and east of I-15. Back farther west where we don't have a lot going on. There's still a little bit of snow, but that's where the stronger winds will be coming through. Gusts over 40 in the higher elevations of the South Hills and Albion Mountains, and those gusts will be west to southwest coming across the Magic Valley up into portions of the Snake Plain. We go into Saturday. It's going to be colder behind that system. The only place that's really above freezing down into northern Utah, Burley, over into the Treasure Valley. And for Sunday, a very similar wind pattern versus tomorrow night into early Saturday morning. But again, any snow, and that's going to be mainly earlier on Saturday. It'll be along and east of I-15. We'll look at temperatures. We'll skip the snow amounts for Sunday and Monday, just off and on periods of moisture through Saturday or Sunday into Monday. We warm back up on Sunday. Monday, we cool back down again. Not as much as we're seeing between the next couple of storm systems, but certainly some cooler temperatures, and again, more rain and snow on Sunday. Definitely want to keep attuned to how things go through the rest of today. Check with ATD 511, Idaho 511 for the latest road conditions, and certainly check with us for the latest weather forecast as things will be changing hour by hour. Have a great day, and definitely stay safe out there, everyone.